Hello everybody. So today we're at Epic Universe in Orlando, Florida, and we're gonna see if we can actually do this park in one day. So I hope you guys have a lot of energy and you're wearing some comfortable shoes. Epic Universe isn't just another theme park. It's the collection of 5 distinct worlds where reality and imagination pretty much, the line between those two blurs, and you feel the magic of this place as soon as you walk through the gates or the first portal. So everything here, the Celestial Park, which we see here in front of us, is the center point of the entire universe, and all of the other parks or worlds located around it. We'll be back here later on in the end of the day, and we're gonna try to have dinner at this Atlantis place. Word advice, make the reservation for that place. There's also a fountain show here at the closing at 10 p.m., which we're not gonna have in this video, but it's actually another video on our channel if you're really interested. Right in front of us here is the Helios Hotel, so it must be nice to stay right in the park. And I believe, I might be wrong, but I think they probably get the early admission too into the park, so it's kind of nice. You can beat the crowds and be here, first thing in the morning. But they designed this place pretty well. I mean, I love that dragon. Okay, guys, are you ready to submerge into this first world of the day? And this world is going to be How to Train Your Dragon. It's themed to How to Train Your Dragon franchise, and it's set between the second and third film. It's actually one of the largest IP-based lands in the park. There are a number of attractions in the park. There's Dragon Races Rally, Fire Drill, Hiccup Wing Gliders, the Untrainable Dragon, Viking Training Camp. And originally they were actually going to have drones resembling pretty much dragons flying around, but they were determined to be too noisy. So they're currently working on making them a little quieter, but for now we have those to enjoy. I mean, they're fun too. There are a number of places to get food here, and the whole world is themed as a part of the movie, which I'll be honest, I can't really relate to because I haven't seen those films. But if you guys did, comment below. Basically tell me about how you feel about this. So the theme of this park. But I think they did a great job. I mean, there's a lot of moving, attractions here, and there's different rides, which we're gonna do. We're gonna do one of them here in a little bit, and that's the one actually you see right in front of us here. That's called Fire Drill. So my advice for this ride: make sure that you just be ready to get soaked, because depending who's sitting next to you and who's in the other boat, you might get soaked. But if you do, it's not a problem. There's this drying areas here, which you actually go in and dry. But it is 85 degrees today, so we didn't really worry about drying because it probably took about 5 minutes to dry when we came out. Personally, I probably wouldn't do this ride during the colder months because it might be a little cold. But again, everyone has different tolerances, so I'm just speaking for myself. But I think overall, I love this park. It's actually, even though like I said, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I think there's a lot of cool features here, and basically you kind of, it's like you submerge into this world, for the film, which like I said, a lot of people would appreciate who've seen it. But even like if you're like me, you haven't seen it, you can enjoy just the atmosphere and everything else that surrounds this park. And one thing I forgot to mention to you, we're going to try to do this whole universe in one day without the fast passes, so that's even more challenging. So far, we probably spent about an hour in here. There was a little bit of wait for the ride. If you do multiple rides, you might need a little more time. We didn't start our journey here right in the morning. We probably got here at 11, 12. So if you start early, you have more time. But we're here in November, right before Thanksgiving, so the lines might not have been as bad. So we've been good so far without those fast passes, because I quoted the prices for them, and to me it was just, they didn't worth it. It was a little pricey. But again, everyone has different preferences, and if you don't mind a little bit of the line, you can do it. But if you really must, I mean, of course, speed passes help a lot. Most of the rides. I mean, the fire drill, it took us about maybe half an hour to get on. And right in front of us, of course, is their roller coaster. So I think most of the worlds here have the roller coaster rides. So for those who love roller coasters, you're going to be happy here. All right, this was an awesome park, but we're going to head out to Celestial Park, and we have another park coming up. And right in front of me here is that Stardust Racers ride, which you probably have seen in the news quite often lately, unfortunately. We're not going to do it today, but I have friends who actually have done it, and they said it was the most amazing experience they ever had. All right, we're actually got the other world done in about an hour, so we're on to a different portal, and this one will take us to the Ministry of Magic, or Harry Potter world. So those of you who are Harry Potter fans, I think you enjoy this one. So as you go through the portal, it kind of takes you right into the world which they've built here. I've been to the one in Universal, so let's see how this one is. I mean, I'm talking about the original world they have in Universal. And this world is set in Paris during the 1920s, primarily drawing inspiration from the Fantastic Beasts prequel film series scenes, characters, and creatures from the franchise. As soon as you walk in through the portal, it's almost like you arrive in France. You know, the streets, the architecture, the little shops around, and the cobblestone everywhere. It feels like I've never been to Paris, but at least in my opinion, if I ever go there, I think that's how it's going to look like. I mean, they did an amazing job here, trying to build, part of that area, of that era of 1920s Paris. I mean, and the detail on this buildings is amazing. I mean, you kind of just look around, and you feel like you just traveled across the world and you're in Paris. So we're gonna walk down, and I really hope, because the other Harry Potter world has that famous butterbeer, and I'm gonna be honest, one of my favorite things there. So we'll see. They should have it here too, so we're gonna try to look for it. There are a couple of attractions here. Les Circus Arachnus, and apologies if I'm not pronouncing correctly. It's a special effects themed show, as a magical circus, and Harry Potter: The Battle of Ministry, elevator themed dark ride, which we're gonna try doing a little bit. But I think I see a butterbeer in distance, so I'm gonna try that first, and then we're gonna head over to that attraction. Wow, such a cool hotel. I wonder if you can actually stay there, but there's probably a nice restaurant here. I guess, the Epic Universe is definitely a place where imagination kind of, blends with reality, because you submerge in those different worlds, and it feels like you're part of it. It's almost like I said, you traveled across the world, and you just, you're enjoying this beautiful scenery here. But we're gonna try this Harry Potter ride, and I'm gonna see how long the wait is. I mean, they're promising 50 minutes, but let's see. It might take a little longer. So I guess it starts right from this another portal. A lot of portals in this park for sure. And you have to go through this portal, and then I guess you end up by the ride somewhere. Let's see. Well, the bad news is there's more of the line there. The line's a lot longer than it was first appeared before the portal. But the good news is they actually designed this pretty well. So while you're waiting in line, you can enjoy this, beautiful, themed area from Harry Potter, and they put a lot of detail into it. I mean, if you look in the windows, even the fans are moving there, so it looks like one of the rooms. It's really cool. And you got this display here, so you got something to kind of keep you occupied for a little while to enjoy. But the line is still, we're still in the line, so let's see. It might take a little bit longer than they promised. I mean, 50 minutes is about an hour, but let's see. Let's see. Like I said, that's like one of the most. That's like we try to do that one of the pretty much prime ride here. So, wow, this is really cool too. Look behind there. Wow, they did a great job of this. That's for sure. Well, we're in the other room now, but the line still goes. Like I said, at least there's some nice, nicely themed areas here, so it feels like you're already in the ride, you're enjoying the ride, but you're still waiting online. And those are talking portraits, and yet another themed room, you know, so part of the line. I mean, this line definitely feels endless. I mean, they do it in this in the kind of like a almost like a maze pattern. So you keep moving, but it seems like you're you know, the line seems a little infinite. So we'll see. Maybe we got lost somewhere here in the universe. But at least the rooms have, like I said, a very cool, you know, very cool themed, you know, design here. So you get to enjoy those while you wait in these long lines. And we already saw a couple of people dropped off from the line. You know, it's not for everyone, this line, like I said, and not everyone can actually buy those fast passes. To me, they were a little too expensive, but everyone has different budgets. So I'm gonna be very honest with me. You know, with this ride, we just did it, and it was cool. But the ride was about 5 to 10 minutes. The wait, I think, was well over an hour, even though they promised 50. But I think it was a little longer than that. So, does it worth it? I don't know. If little like shorter wait time, I would probably say yes. But if almost 2 hours waiting online for about 5 to 10 minute ride, I don't know. I'm gonna be, you know, I know all of you Harry Potter fans, gonna tell me I'm wrong. It's definitely worth it, and I get it. Listen, if you're dedicated, you know, if you love the stories, then it's probably worth it. But again, to me, I thought it was just a little bit too long of a wait. But we're gonna try and enjoy whatever's left here, and we're gonna try to head out to another world. So far, with this wait, we're about 3 hours in. 3 hours and 30 minutes. So we still have enough time. I mean, we're planning on being here till 10 o'clock at night. So our plan is to do the whole park, and let's see. I mean, if you guys are not tired, I hope you guys still staying with us. I mean, we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep walking. We're gonna keep exploring this park. And we're at our next destination, which is the Dark Universe. So let's go to this portal and let's see what awaits for us on the other side. I'm actually pretty excited about this one because I heard a lot about it. So Epic Dark Universe is the new Universal Monsters themed land. It features a gothic village of Darkmoor, rise like monsters unchained, and the curse of the werewolf. Character encounters, the immersive experience centered around classic Universal monsters such as Frankenstein, Dracula, and Wolfram. Dark Universe designed as a modern constitution of those classic monster films, bringing those iconic tales and shadowy, eerie world with thrilling attractions and detailed theming. I guess that whole, the whole theme or the whole story of this place is, first, it follows Dr. Victoria Frankenstein's experiments leading to monster wolves and struggle between humans and creatures. It also employs a lot of different, basically lighting, techniques, fog, soundscapes, to create this sinister, mysterious, and immersed environment, especially at night. And we're gonna be here actually a night later, you'll see. But even during the day, it does look a little spooky. So right in front of us here is the Frankenstein's castle. So that's actually one of the attractions we're gonna do here. We were trying to get to the werewolf attraction, but it was just too many people. So we're gonna do this one because the wait was about half an hour. So we can definitely do that. So let's walk into this Frankenstein's castle and see what's inside. As soon as you walk in here, it definitely feels a little eerie and scary and spooky, and kind of feel like you're part of that movie. And I love the displays here. So I like the way they set up the line here as well, because you get a little bit of a little bit of a Frankenstein experience with different setups here in a nice nicely designed things. And the whole castle is designed beautifully as well. I feel like you're walking into Frankenstein's castle, at least for what I've seen in the movies. That's such a cool lighting effect. Wow, that's so cool.
Ultimate challenge. Count Dracula. Calm yourself. That wasn't us.
Silence, creature. I will destroy you and everything.
Wow, I think I like the Frankenstein ride the most because I think it's one of the best ones I've had here so far. I mean, and here is the Curse of the Werewolf ride. I mean, everybody raves about this ride. Most of it's outside, as far as I know. That's what those, the ride cars look like. I mean, the wait is definitely very extensive. I mean, you talk about hours at this point, so. It's getting a little darker, and we are in front of the Burning Blade Tavern, which resembles a pretty much windmill. And so as soon as it gets dark, it lights up on fire. That's a really cool scene. It happens every 10-15 minutes, when it gets dark. So you can catch it a few times a night, pretty much. And it's a really cool experience just to see. And I think we're going back to the Frankenstein castle, and I think it's about to light up. So there's another thing that happens here every 10-15 minutes. It lights up pretty much, And we're about to enter one of the last portals of our day today. And this portal, my friends, takes us back to the childhood. Yes, this is the Nintendo world. And if you like me, you probably played those games back in the day, and you remember Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, and all the other games that we played. As soon as you walk into this world, you go through the portal, it feels like you just walked into the game. It feels like you're a part of it. Everything looks so realistic, and everything feels so alive around you that it's just like it just creates such a remarkable experience, and such a real, almost like feels like a real experience, honestly. And this is not just a land to look at; it's a land to play. With the power-up band, the entire park becomes a controller. You're collecting digital coins, earning stamps, and taking on the key challenges to face off against Bowser Jr. in the Shadow Showdown. Deep inside of Bowser's castle, you'll find the most technologically advanced race on Earth, Mario Kart Challenge, which is a nice attraction we'll get a little later today. So that should be pretty cool, people are saying. And in front of us here is the Yoshi's Adventure. And there's many more in here, I mean, honestly. There's a number of rides here and attractions, and but again, if you have that power-up band, you can actually interact and do other things with the in the park. So we didn't get the band, but I think it's definitely worth it for the full experience. You see that little question mark there, so that could have been a part of the experience. And this stuff here in front of us is for the Wild Hearts. Welcome to the Donkey Kong Country. An expansion takes you deep into the jungle of the Kongs. And if you guys played that game back in the day, remember, and right in the background is the mine cart, which is not in the average coaster. Using the revolutionary boom coaster tech, your cart will literally appear and jump over gaps on the track. Seems like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Wow, that's something I would like to try one day. Wow, that's such an amazing experience. This park is not just the park on experience. To me, it's childhood. Because again, that's what I remember when I used to play back in the day. I hope you guys do have the energy, because we're back at the Celestial Park, and I think we accomplished it. We did the whole park in one day. Thumbs up. And if you guys are wondering, there's plenty of places to sit down and relax, so it doesn't have to be an exhausting experience, and it's definitely doable one day. The only thing I would say, save the Celestial Park for the night, because the lights are beautiful here at night. I mean, certainly, if you start off from the Dragon World, and then come back here by the Mario at night, because again, it's beautiful at night as well. We're going to grab some dinner, and then we're going to watch the Fountain Show. If you wanted to see that, we have a video on our channel. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.